vengeance.
Hey, Strat fans, what's going on? It's Colonel Strat, the strategy extraordinaire here. So I apologize if my voice is a bit stuffy for this one, but I am a bit under the weather. Still recovering from something I got. But anyway, so you want to play Dark Elves. So this will be a comprehensive guide on how to destroy as the Dark Elves. They're not my favorite race, but they do have a lot of good units and good versatility. Again, like the High Elves. All Warhammer 2 races have a lot more versatility than Warhammer 1 races. And it really shows in their roster and their different lords. So for this, I'm going to be doing Malekith, who's, the Witch King. He's kind of the most basic of them, just like Tyrion is for the High Elves. Starts in Naggaroth and all that jazz. So he has some good bonuses, especially to his loyalty and his upkeep. So let's get into the campaign, and we'll digest how to destroy as the Dark Elves.
All bow before the Witch King.
Alright, so so how the Dark Elves play. They have a very interesting mechanic in the form of slaves. It's not as good as it could be, and in fact the excuse me, the Chaos Dwarves that recently released, they're probably a lot better for slaves, or my bad, laborers. They also have their rights like sacrifices to Mathland. They can get black arcs, which are special naval vessels that can give you, like if they're within your vicinity of your army on land, you'll get special abilities in battle, and it does help. It's kind of like a horde, but on sea. So they are pretty good. You can also, you have access to Shrine of the Widowmaker like all other elves do. Jeez, I'm sorry. Alright, so
Lord of the Black Tower.
All shall be mine.
So Malekith's start is pretty basic. He's up in Naggaroth, with Naggarond. The Dark Elves buildings is pretty basic too. They have the basic, tier systems and the basic, the basic buildings that you'd put in a minor settlement. They're advanced military buildings. They're garrison buildings. They don't really have anything unique other than like the slave pens, the arenas, and all that increases the income per turn by the slaves you have in the province. Now you do lower control, I believe, when you have a lot of slaves in the province. I don't know how to view my slaves that I have, but right now this is up here. This is the total amount of slaves you have, and it's the lifeblood of your economy. But like I said, it's not as good as the Chaos Dwarves economy is for slaves. Now the rights that they have, they of course have the sacrifice to Mathland, which is 800 slaves. Which you can increase the cap of slaves by getting more heroes and lords that increase the slave cap. That way you don't like, because you lose more when you're over that cap. I don't think you can actually gain any over that cap. And then you have the sacrifice to Hakarti, which gives you a lot of experience in wisdom magic. The sacrifice to Cain gives you lots of casualty replenishment. Dark Conduit, which is a explosion, income from post-battle and casualties captured. And then the sacrifice to authority, which gives you loyalty and control. So the Dark Elves and the Skaven have a loyalty mechanic with lords that aren't their legendary lord, their faction leader. So if I were to recruit one, now I have a mod that removes the loyalty because I think it's kind of stupid, especially for like Dark Elves. But it does make kind of sense. But normally they'd have like a loyalty meter right there. I usually don't play with that. Well, I usually do play with the loyalty removed because it just causes problems. But it can be an interesting mechanic, especially if you're able to maximize the loyalty. But you just have to make sure you're constantly fighting. So that's why I usually use that mod on. Anywho, let's get to the tech tree. Their tech tree, they're driven. They're driven by 3 different types. So they do this one. I believe it boosts their So they have one that boosts their units, one that boosts their economy as well as units, and then one that boosts their growth and their control and all that. And then of course you do the upgrades, you get more. It mirrors the high elf tech tree, but it's a lot more streamlined, and there isn't as much, like, you don't have to own specific resources or anything. So it's a little more streamlined. Diplomacy is a little bit difficult as the Dark Elves, because other than your kin, you're going to be kind of hated all over the board because you are kind of evil. But other than that in the Shrine of Cain, there's not much else to the Dark Elves, which leaves them a little bit lacking. But I do think they are still in a strong position, especially with their roster. They are pretty fleshed out, and we will see those in just a few, okay, as we get into these army compositions. Alright, and here we are with a tier 1 army. So, what you've seen, it's kind of basic. You know, we got some bleak swords up in the front, the basic Dark Elves sword infantry. I like bleak swords better than the High Elves base unit, because even though Murderous Prowess isn't as good as the Dark Elves Martial Prowess, because it stays on all the time, it still is a good unit because it's swords, so they have an increased melee attack, so they do more damage. And then of course I have some Dread Spears, which is pretty much just a copy and paste of the Spearman unit for the High Elves. And then in the back we have the Ace in the Hole, Dark Shards. Now Dark Shards, they're technically a tier 2 unit, but they can be recruited on turn 1, so I count them. And they're really good because they start with 23 armor-piercing missile damage, so they do really good against armored targets. So Dark Elves are really hard to fight early game if you're an armored faction, because they just negate all your armor, really, right out the gate. Alright. Then, of course, rounding out the roster, we got Malekith up here. And then we, of course, I bring a Master to start off with, because they're really good in melee, and they're in good melee hero support. It's either them or Sorceress. I don't really get a Death Hag or a Canine Assassin because they're not as good. Well, the Canine Assassin is better on the campaign map, and the Death Hag is better later on. But starting out, I just get a Master to help. Alright, so let's start the battle. We're going up against some Skaven. Kind of not going to count for much having our Dark Shards, but it does help. They do help, believe it or not. Even though it's not really going to count for much because they don't have much armor anyway, they still have a high missile damage value.
Merciless warriors, going.
All right, let's. They're trying to come around here. Let's catch their bluff there. But yeah, I will hardly ever try to go just around, which is good. It's good because you don't have to worry about them trying to go. They'll still try to flank you even if you've moved to meet them there. They'll still just charge head on to flank you. Alright, these Skaven slaves should be getting close to Dark Shard range. We just gotta keep an eye on that side. And of course the rats go right into our Dread Spears, which is already going to do some damage to them. Don't know what they're doing there. They're on the high ground. Skaven slaves are taking damage. The more you kill as the Dark Elves, you get these Murderous Mastery to pop, or Murderous Prowess to pop. And that'll increase your chances of, killing vastly. Alright, we don't want to waste our ammunition on these guys. They will come back. That's okay. Oh, here they come. They're coming in now.
Dark shards. Nagarothi. Dealers in death. Dark shards. Eager for battle. Advancing. Murder awaits.
Alright. We're moving our dark shards just to be able to target them.
Malekith.
And then Malekith.
Malekith comes. Spreading
I'm
misery.
gonna go over there.
Attacking! Pain, suffering, death!
Let's do Chill Wind. There's Dark Elves magic. Yeah, that's good. Malekith is a spellcaster. The Dark Elves magic does pretty good damage. Alright. Blade Wind. That does chomp up some kills.
Forward.
Ready!
Alright. Holding the rest of the line.
Dark shards! We are ready! On to slaughter! Dark shards! Slay them! Kill them! Battle ready! Dark shards!
Alright. Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Malekith.
I'm doing another Chill Wind. Upgraded. We can do some more damage to these guys. There we go.
Pain sucks on blood!
Destruction awaits.
Missiles, take cover!
Let's do a Blade Wind on these guys. These Skaven Slave Slingers. Alright, we're racking up the kills. The more kills we get, the better.
The Witch King.
Master Druki!
But we are losing a lot of people over here.
The true king.
So we do have to kill that chieftain. He's doing the most of the
Dark
damage.
shards!
Alright, let's move these guys up here. Try to box them in.
Fear me.
Master Druki! Witness my cruelty! End it!
That's new. Ooh.
Kada.
Alright, that'll do. That'll do. Alright, we've almost got them routed. And that'll be the army losses. Alright. Didn't even hit murderous prowess, but we will show you it in the next one. So let's go on to a tier 2. Alright, and here we are with a tier 2. So a little bit of changes here. So we've upgraded our dark shards, our virgin dark shards, to Chad Shades. Now shades are really good because they're decent melee combatant as well as having an absolutely insane 34 missile strength armor piercing. So again, very, very good against anything that's armored, including these Saurus and Lizardmen here. Now, we've upgraded our Bleak Swords and Dark Shards, or Bleak Swords and Dread Spears for Black Ark Corsairs. They are very good. They have 80 armor. Pretty good melee attack, melee defense, good weapon strength with anti-infantry. So they're still not the best, but they're really durable because of their armor. And then of course we have the Witch Elves as well, which are really good. They also have these Madness of Cain, which is really good, increases in rampage. They have frenzy and they have physical resist, so they're a really good unit. I usually don't mainline them though because of how low armor they have, and they really rely on that physical resist. So if you go up against an army, say High Elves with Sisters of Avalon, they'll completely destroy them. So I only run them as a support unit for the main line. And then I have in the back a Reaper Bolt Thrower. Now these are pretty much just like the Eagle Claws for the High Elves, but unlike the High Elves, there's actually a reason to use them. You can even keep them in your army till the late game too, because they're really good. They have the same shot mechanism and everything, just borrowed from the High Elves. Now we've upgraded Malekith and the Master by putting them both on a cold one. And then we've also recruited a Death Hag. Death Hags are really good melee combatants. They have their physical resist as well as their murderous mastery, and their Witch Brew effect is really good. They're really good, and they have poison attacks as well. Even though they're not as good as the Masters in combat, they are still pretty good with their poison, and they have a high anti-infantry roll. So, with that, let's get into the battle. So, we're going to try to have the Dark Shards focus fire first, and we will focus fire down the big monsters, because those have a lot of armor. But we should be able to get them down.
I lust for slaughter.
Bolt throwers!
Bolt thrower is probably going to go offline pretty soon. There we go. Open fire on the Saurus in the front. Doing a hefty amount of damage to them. Real good. But we will have to move out.
Corsairs! With pleasure! Following orders! Advance! Druki! Die, weaklings! Druki! Advancing!
Witch Elves! Skilled murderesses! Come on! Bringers of death!
Shades!
Alright, Shades, focus fire on the big monsters.
Masterless warriors! Shades!
And on
My
the
blade
Lord.
hungers!
Attack!
Send Malekith out there.
I'll play!
Bride of Cain!
We do need to send the Witch Elf out there as well.
Master Druki!
Alright, let's we should get that. The Black Orc Corsairs already failed there.
Cain's chosen!
We are ready! Suffering for all! Die, weaklings! Dark Elves! With pleasure!
It is done!
Man, I didn't know they had such little morale.
Malekith!
Also would have used all Witch Elves because they're kind of kicking ass right now.
Whisper to me! Yes, yes! Feel the dark!
Pain, suffering, death! See it through! Death! Nagorothi!
Alright,
Slay them! No survivors! Nagorothi! Dealers in death!
I will have destruction! All shall tremble!
yeah, there's a problem there.
Corsairs! Slaughter them! Battle ready!
Come on, get back in there, you.
Nagorothi! Kill everything! Death and
We're gonna pop Murderous Mastery before the day is done,
We are ready.
which is great. We need that.
Sacrifice them!
The true king! Crush them!
Shades. Suffering for all. No mercy.
Alright, the Shades are really carrying though. Oh, we killed one of the monsters completely.
Destroy.
So that's great. Shades are really carrying the battle, as you can see.
Merciless warriors.
They do a whole lot of damage, and they're really good. Plus, the Witch Elves did really good as well. Even though the Corsairs did retreat. There we go. Murderous Mastery is popped. That means now we have bonus missile, armor piercing damage, and melee attack, and all of that. All right.
True heir of a million!
Yeah, let's get him. Let's get him.
Mothers of murder! Death hag! Going! Yes! Hag!
Alright, that should be the armor losses. And there we go. We showed those Lizardmen 1-4. Alright, so now let's go on to the final one, a tier 3. Alright, and finally we have a tier 3. So, for this tier 3 setup, it's a little more complicated because I'm able to use a lot more units to round it out more. So, for our main line here, we have Harganeth Executioners, which are really good, high armor value, high armor piercing with anti-infantry, Murderous Mastery. They're really good, high melee attack, decent melee defense, good speed, good, okay charge bonus, but they're actually really good. So, them accompanied with the Blackguard of Nagaron, which are equally as good with almost unbreakable morale. And they have more melee defense than attack than the Executioners, but they're really good for defending the flanks. Again, 100 armor, really good. For our up front, we do have Shades still, but these are the Great Sword Shades. So these Shades, if they get caught up in melee combat or run out of missiles, they still have a very high weapon strength with armor piercing, anti-infantry, and a decent, a really good melee attack and good melee defense. Armor stat not so good, but they are still really good, and they still have that insane missile damage that they had before. So in the back, you see that we have good old Malekith on Seraphin, his Black Dragon mount. We have our Witch Elf, or our Death Hag, on her Cauldron of Blood, which is, yeah, it's okay, but it also gives a passive. The Fury of Cain, this right here is really good. And then we have a Bloodwrack Medusa, which this is a DLC unit. So not everyone will be able to access these guys, but they're actually really good because they have magical ammunition, really good missile strength. They're this one is a Regiment Renown, so we're able to have a special ability, but normally it wouldn't have that, and they still have a good melee attack as well. On the other side, we see our Master in the air with a Pegasus, and we have a Sorceress down here. I was supposed to give her a Dark Pegasus like the Master, but it's alright. She has, I usually do the lore of shadows or fire, depending on what I need to round out the composition. Then finally over here we have a War Hydra. Really good monster unit. This one has Frostbite because it's Regiment Renown, but they have really good weapon strength. They also have their breaths. Another head takes its place, which means they replenish. They have a generation, so they're really difficult to kill. Alright, so with that, let's get started on this last battle against our cursed enemy, the High Elves.
I will!
Alright, we're going to attack this time.
Murder awaits. going!
Malekith.
Star rises!
Alright, well, the High Elves are attacking.
The true king.
Let's attack.
Shades!
I crave battle.
Where to?
Come on, buddy.
Away! On it! No mercy! Executioners! By your command! We are ready! Dark Elves! Black Darts!
Alright. Give the War Hydra's breath. Actually, no, let's get the War Hydra back here.
Malekith.
This Flame Phoenix should not have done that.
Hear my words.
Alright, let's use his breath attack on these High Elves here. There we go.
Nagorothi! Orders understood! Die, weaklings! Destroy! Hack! Cut! Executioners! Glorious destruction! Slay them! Dirt!
Death hag! Just so! Yes!
Black Guards!
Alright, let's do this. Have the carbonite. We're gonna have the War Hydra do that, while the Medusa is going to snipe these guys. Let's go, Executioners.
Terror and death! Merciless warriors! We are ready! Executioners! A merciless host! The magic is weak!
Alright.
The merciless host! The winds are turning!
Sorceress of Grond!
Forward! Cruelty! Eager for battle! Gods protect us!
Alright, we should be able to nail them there. Let's get those guys. Alright, there's that Phoenix.
Come forth.
And there's our Murderous Prowess proc.
Moving!
Oh boy. Yeah, get out of there, buddy.
Executioners!
Sorceress of Grond!
Alright. Finish those guys out.
Make them bleed! Shades! Death!
And that should be the army losses. There we go. We completely stomped them into the ground. Alright, and that's a nice victory. Alright. So, now, with all these tools at your disposal, are you ready to go conquer and enslave as the Dark Elves? Take back your rightful throne as Malekith, or cover the world in darkness as his mother,
I will see
Morathi?
Malekith
Maybe you
cry.
want to soak the world in blood with
Revel in
Halbrand,
slaughter with
or conquer the seas with
Drakenlord of
Lokir.
Karen's Car.
Or maybe you want to conquer your own demons with Malice Darkblade.
demon.
or tame the beasts of the world with
Every
Ricard.
beast
Whatever
is
you want to
mine
do,
to
though.
command.
The Dark Elves
Our
offer a
friends
playstyle for
will be
everyone.
mine.
And even though they're dreadful slave masters, they're inclusive for everyone. So, go out there, Strat fans. I encourage you to go and play your new campaigns as the Dark Elves, the Merciless Killers, and I wish you the best of luck. So, without further ado, Strat fans, that'll be it for me. Keep it strategic. Colonel out.